Today I am privileged and I am honored to stand next to this monument by the name of Frederick Schuyler. He was a great poet of freedom and justice. But today I would like to speak to you on the account of John. He was a great man of faith, and he wrote the book of 1 John. And the chapters that I would like to discuss today are chapter 1, chapter 3, and chapter 5, because many believe that John was contradicting himself, because in one passage he basically said that as born again believers that there are no sin in you. But then he also speaks to the believers and he let them know that if they do not confess that there is sin in them, that they not only deceive themselves, but that they make God a liar. And the one thing that I like about John, because he was not contradicting himself, but he was simply bringing a balance to this thing, because he understands the difference from falling short or falling into sin and allowing correction to take place versus habitual sin. Habitual sin is a lifestyle. It's something that someone practices day in and day out. For instance, there was a time that I woke up to this. Basically, I breathed weed. There are some that breathe lies, and they plot and they scheme on how they can go out and murder people day in and day out. You have drug dealers that basically sell cocaine, and they do it on a day-to-day basis. In a lot of cases, there is no remorse, there is no sympathy. It's about that dollar bill. And as believers, just like the people in the Old Testament, how they kept the law, I'm speaking out of experience, that although in the Old Testament they didn't actually have Jesus walking amongst them, as a believer you can still fall victim and you can still fall short, and you can keep the law thereof, which will then become binding. And that's what John was trying to bring. John was trying to bring about the awareness of freedom and justice, whereby people didn't have to be bound to sin. I've spoke to a couple of people, and I've even have been there before, whereby you're looking for that significant other, but again you try to keep the law. So the minute you look at a person who is attractive, oh my gosh, I'm sinning, wait a second, I can't look at him, I can't look. That's sin. That's what John was trying to depict. He was depicting balance, because the Bible says that he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. But if you don't date, if you don't go out to get to know, if you don't converse, if you don't give compliments, how can you ever be married? So again, the enemy wants us to keep the law. So that's why I'm here standing today encouraging you that if you are in the midst of oral sex and God convicts you, and you jump up and you run to the bathroom and you allow that conviction to continue to take place, and then you come out of the bathroom and you tell that person that you were engaging in that sexual affair, perhaps in the midst of adultery, perhaps just sexual, because you realize that that was just something that you wanted that moment of pleasure, but you realize that you are not married, and you come out of that bathroom and you tell that person, look, forgive me, I gotta go, this is not right in the eyes of God. The simple matter of the fact is that you are allowing God to interrupt and to redirect and to realign you in the matter of that situation. Long as you're not sitting there as one who masturbates day in and day out. You like the pleasure thereof. You like the sensation thereof. So you continue to do it. And you do it. And you do it. And you do it. And you do it. Again, just as Frederick Schuyler spoke on freedom and he spoke of justice, there is liberation away from sin, and there is freedom when you do not partake in such an account, because you cannot go on sinning as if it were, because you allow God to interrupt. So allow God to interrupt your plans and see what your future holds. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, be blessed.